And we're live once again on a Tuesday. Special guest in the house, TIINA with two eyes. I love that, TIINA with two eyes. And she is here today to talk to us about a picture's worth 1,000 words. So let me put on our nameplate. So TIINA, before we begin, can you just introduce yourself, just quickly who you are and what you do so everybody's aware of your great and awesome coaching talents.
Hi, Gillian. So I'm TIINA JARVET PEREIRA. I'm a headhunter based in Belgium. I work with multinationals. I find international talent to them. I'm originally from Estonia. I grew up in Sweden and now I live in Belgium.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And just for the record, how many languages do you speak?
I speak 9 languages.
Wow. And can we add a 10th because you also speak visually? Oh, what a segue. But it's so true because in essence, if you think about it, visual communication is a language of itself. And I'll just show that I'm wearing a very special t-shirt today in honor because this t-shirt, I can't say the name right, you probably could, but it's a special cave in France where they found the first pictographs or the first drawings. That's like 70,000 years old or 20,000. I'm not good at math, but it's, again, the language of pictures. So this is kind of, whether you're talking about Egypt or you're talking about caves in France, visual communication has been around forever. So this is just such an exciting show because we had a Zoom a while back, and at the end of the Zoom, and we just had a wonderful conversation. It was so natural, so flowing, and we just a regular Zoom chit chat. And at the end of the show, you sent me a drawing. And would you mind if I showed everybody what that drawing was? Because it was really awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go over to Chrome and there we go. Oops, let me get to the front. Sorry, I queued that up wrong. There we go. That was the first drawing that at the end of our conversation, TIINA sent me this drawing and it was just absolutely awesome. And TIINA, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So we talked about here, you basically summed up our entire Zoom call. I think we met for like an hour almost. We talked about Las Vegas. So I had said that I'd been to the casino in Las Vegas and actually won. And so I left because usually what stays in Vegas happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. But also too, we talked about the various forms of LinkedIn and content. And so the picture with the little TIINA with 3 arms, she's making videos and making text posts and all this for LinkedIn. So that was wonderful. We talked about with the camera, whenever you're doing video, that you don't want to have the camera behind you. You want to look into the camera. And so you want to be facing into the sun, into the natural light, that's good. And then of course, I love the little picture with the people, at the dinner table. And we talked about you don't want to do video content for LinkedIn unless you have your profile set up first, because it's kind of akin to moving into a house, inviting everybody over for dinner, but not remembering that, I don't have the furniture unpacked yet and I don't have any groceries in the house. So this was kind of something. So this is an example of TIINA's awesome doodles. So TIINA, tell us, how did the doodling start? How did the doodling start?
So a month ago in March, end of March, I took a course called Sketchnotes and Visual Storytelling for freelancers. So we had a teacher, Kunde Kersmaker and Jenny Björklov, who gave us a virtual course. So Kun was explaining, and also he had a camera so we could see how he was drawing. So we were drawing the same line. So we went really to basics, how to draw a line, and Sketchnotes is so much about using the basic, really basic lines like the circles, the triangles, and building really basic sketches, and how you can tell a story with them. So this is how I started, and they encouraged us to post them on LinkedIn and continue drawing.
Awesome, awesome, exciting. So you didn't have to have any talent, because I think that's one of the biggest things, is that people feel, oh, I can't draw, so therefore I can't doodle, I can't do things like Sketchnotes. And some of the reasons why Sketchnotes is important is we actually retain information better when we make that visual representation, because you're engaging your brain, your ear, so you're doing active listening. And then of course, as you're creating the doodle, like we kind of see doodling as like, oh, you're losing focus, but I actually think you're gaining focus when you doodle in a conversation. It's probably something that we should be encouraging children to do in class, and not getting them in trouble, and in fact, encouraging them to make notes, because if they're doing these visual representations, they're probably retaining the information better. So, but I think there's this hang up that we think, oh, you have to be an artist. But you're saying in the class, you started from the ground, like learning how to, like, what if I can only draw a stick figure? Is that okay?
I don't think you even need to know how to draw stick figures. Honestly, coming from me, I had never drawn anything, because at school you quite early on decide whether you're creative or artistic or analytical, and I was never the creative one. So like 2 months ago, I didn't draw anything. Always when I was interviewing somebody or listening, I was making some notes, and I was drawing circles or something. So because it really helps me to listen and remember better if I write. But my handwriting is so bad that it's even difficult for me to read it. So you don't have to know how to draw. You don't have to have a nice handwriting. You can still do sketch notes.
Awesome.
If I could do it, anyone can do it.
I agree. And I shared with you before we started today that in public speaking, I've been drawing pictures forever, because I remember once I was giving a speech and I lost my place. I used to memorize speeches, which I don't do anymore. So then I tried having written notes, but I couldn't kind of like go to the notes and then keep talking. So I learned that if I could just take a picture and do a little doodle for each part of my speech, I could have it there, so that if I lost my place, it was warm and fuzzy waiting for me to say, oh, you're going to talk about this. And, you could use this in video. If you're going to do 3 quick tips for using your iPhone, you can have your 3 little pictures of what you're going to talk about. And then you don't need any notes. So you can use these doodles for so many different things. It's just awesome. So how would you use this? So you're working with people that are looking for jobs. So how would you recommend using this as if you're a job seeker?
Well, actually, I work with people who already have jobs and are not looking for jobs. So I'm inviting them to come to a new opportunity in another company. But there are also people who are looking for jobs. I think drawing and making those doodles, it also helps you to express and process your feelings. So rather than blocking them off, because it's quite emotional, this part of our career and where you want to go. So sometimes it's good to draw or write instead of looking for other places to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I would imagine too that you could, just like I used it for public speaking, you could use this for if you were going to do a Zoom call with somebody and you wanted to be able to, you know, cover particular points in your interview with someone. You could have some doodles about, oh, I want to, this story that I have in my background illustrates my skills at doing, you know, project management or something like that. So maybe you have a little doodle with you, you know, with, you know, filing cabinets and a computer and this and that. And it might be, again, a trigger to remind you to talk about a particular story or something. So that might be good. That might be good. Now, I see that we have a comment. So let me hop over and grab the comment. So here we go. Okay. So we are more than one from Finland. Lovely to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Risto.
So in your doodles, so let me go back and show some of your doodles again. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to go back to this one. I hope I'm doing it right. Okay, share the screen. And okay, so I'm going back over to Chrome and here we go. All right, so we did this one. So this was a LinkedIn Live where we had Stephen Quinn on the show, and he was talking about St. Patrick's Day. So since it's been a while and it's your doodle, tell me the 1,000 words that this doodle now, you know, a month later, what do you remember from that LinkedIn Live based on this doodle?
Oh, I start laughing as soon as I remember. It was such a fantastic live with you and Stephen Quinn. He was, because he's in Ireland, and it was just, was it the same day that St. Patrick's? So
it was actually St. Patrick's Day. And he was, we were talking about the realities of St. Patrick's Day. How is it observed in Ireland versus in the United States? So sort of like he kind of went through the myths and he did some myth busting for us. And we found out there was a lot of things that weren't actually happening.
Yes. So the first myth is we were talking about how many leaves. So the right leaf is the 3 leaves. So never with 4. And then when we talk about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, also a myth, and about the snakes, that there are no snakes in Ireland.
Which made me want to go to Ireland. That was a good one. That was a good one.
And then we talked about the typical foods that we think that Irish people eat and drink, and the reality. So of course Guinness is very important, and then we were talking, or he was mentioning sweet, which is a vegetable, and sweet is also a person who lives in Sweden. So, and I often heard it when I was living in Sweden, what sweet is, but he didn't remember which one it was. So for me, it was so funny.
That was great. That was great.
And also about the Blarney stone. So yeah, and what he summed up was that always be respectful and sensitive about the traditions. You can't go wrong if you do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was just, you know, so here it is. You have covered everything we talked about in one picture. So that's just an awesome, awesome summation. I love this too, because this is another one you did. Again, this is really, really simple that you see, how do you say hello and thank you? So I think this went with a video that John Asperian, is that the story behind this doodle?
Yes, yes. So he sent a message on a Saturday morning, said, oh, would you be willing to say hello and thank you in different languages and send me the video? And he asked other people to do that as well. So I wanted to put it in a context so it would be easy to see it. And
awesome.
And yeah, 9 fitted very well in the box. So So if you have any doubts, then you can just look there and find the right danke, thank you, merci.
I love that. I love that. And this is a really good illustration of the fact that it's very, very simple. So you're combining words, this is definitely showing off your talent for all the multiple languages, but it's just a very simple drawing of the same person in every single picture, but then just a little speech bubble. And I noticed that they're all in capitals, like all caps letters. So is that something that you learned in the course, that when you're doing words that you should put them in all caps?
We learn different styles, but actually my handwriting is so difficult to read. So this is the easiest one for everyone to read and understand, including me.
One of the things that I'll just go back to us for a second. One of the things too is that I noticed that that's a technique that a lot of like landscape architects use, and architects of, graphic designers all seem to go with caps. So I think you're in good company to do all that. So that is really fun. That is really fun. So now so now you add color. So how did you integrate the color into your doodles? Because I think the color matters too.
Well, I think it can't be too much color. It really has to highlight some things, like the live with about St. Patrick's Day. I was listening to it afterwards. And I was just listening and drawing and laughing alone. So I did it simultaneously when you were talking. So it really was just something fun to do. And I never imagined that other people would see it in the future.
That's good. That's good. And so this could be, good homework for people, that if you wanted to watch some LinkedIn Lives or even some TEDx talks, like you could sit and do that, and, just sit and doodle, and then it can help you retain that information as well. So it's like any of us could do this, but maybe afterwards you could put a link to the course and we can put it in the comments, because I think there's a lot of people that you could use this, whether you're, you could be employed, you could be job seekers, you could be a business owner. I use videos. When I do videos, I create what's called a storyboard, especially when I'm doing presentation videos, where I'll have it's kind of like two boxes. So this is the text, but then I have to turn each sort of chunk of text and say, what's the visual that I would want with that? Because for the most part, you want to try and get your videos to be as visual as possible. So I'll do, little teeny doodles, and I'm telling you, I have no talent when it comes to any of this stuff, but that's okay, because nobody's judging you, right? That's the important thing. Nobody's judging you. It's just a way of visually thinking, as opposed to, none of us are graphic artists here, although I think you are. I think they're good. I'm glad I have my drawings from today. I see we have a couple comments, so let me go to those and I will pop them up on the screen. Okay, so here we go. Hi, everyone. It's, can you pronounce that name? Because I don't want to blow it.
It's Viknes from Finland. Hi.
Hi. Oh, and here's my sister. Does TIINA recommend that someone doodle and take with them on a job interview? So I think we covered that, but you said yes, when people are interviewing, it's a good thing to do.
Yes, yep. And it's something different that nobody else does. So, and it's really not about the prettiest picture, but really explaining your thoughts in a visual way.
Yes, I like that. And we have to remember to show your one about your background, giving your background in an interview. That was a good one. Niraj. Okay. Hi, Gillian, TIINA, Janet. It's Niraj from Northern Ireland. I hope he's checking on the snakes and not letting the snakes come back in.
Hi, Niraj.
So let's go back to, let's see if I can bring up the one from the interview because I really like that one. So let me just go back here because I thought that was, okay, so this was a cute one about what shall I wear. Can you tell us the story about this one? So let me see, let me get the comment off and
so
here.
I think all women can relate to this one. Every morning we're thinking, what shall I wear? And and I was just talking to Weakness as well the other day that in Estonia and in Finland in the summertime people wear a lot of clothes, white and blue striped clothes, like we're always ready to go on a sailing boat. That's like the summer fashion. So when I put on my sweater and you open the Zoom and you see that the other person on the other side is wearing the same thing as you, you're like, oh. This happens to me a lot.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Immediate connection.
I love it. I love it. And then I love that you just go, and instead of being embarrassed, you just say, great minds think alike. Like this is a good thing. You're kindred spirits both wearing the same clothes. I love that. Let me go to, oops, hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to master the art of, there we go. I love this one. So tell us this story, because this was an awesome story.
So when a recruiter asks you, tell me about yourself, that is one of the most typical questions and something that it's so good to prepare up front because that question will come and then you have to think how you could sell yourself in a best way for that specific position. So think about that at home, and another one is what are your strengths? Always have your strengths maybe on a doodle, like you always have to know them because those questions will come. And this is something that has happened. So you ask what is your background, and the person looks behind and they say, yeah, I have a tree, or nowadays it's with the Zoom virtual background.
I love it. I love it. That's so perfect. That's so perfect. And I love the final doodle because she's literally laughed her head off. She has no head. So that was just perfect. That was just perfect. And again, I love these. It's so simple. It's so simple.
And yeah, so but this happens a lot, so people can recognize it. So if that happens to me, then there are other people who can relate to that as well. So I think that's what makes it relatable.
I love it. I love it. And I love so like just the little fact that you have the little camera, which is literally a box and a triangle. So you're not drawing anything special. So you have the little camera, and then that way we know it's a Zoom call, it's a video call. So that's very, very clever because just that little symbol on each one, we know immediately what it is. I like that you have your speech bubbles are different than the thought bubbles. So again, very, very simple things. And I love your person is the same person. Now in your course, did they teach you this specific person, or is this something that you kind of start to morph and it becomes your own?
There are different kind of persons that you can draw, but it really just making a half circle with a head or another circle as a head. It doesn't have to be more difficult than that. And then you can choose the colors and like everyone can see it's a computer because there's the keyboard. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be 3D pictures. It really, you can there are libraries, online libraries. So if there is one icon that you don't know how to draw, you can just look it up and try to do something similar. There is really no right and wrong. Just, I think practicing is the most important part.
Just getting comfortable with it.
Yes, and the more you do it, because you can see the first picture I sent to you and this one, it's just been a month between them, but just because I've been practicing, I've seen that some things work better and you just improve. You can't do it in your head. You really have to take the pen and paper and do it. Yeah,
absolutely. And then I guess as you're kind of going through things, you're developing your own library. So you'll know, okay, if I'm doing a Zoom call, I do it, with the little camera, and you begin to develop your own personal library that you can use in your different drawings. So that's kind of cool. So the next one I wanted to show. Okay. So one of the things that I talk about is whenever you're doing a Zoom call or you're doing a video, you want to look at the camera lens instead of yourself. And it's really hard. We really must, train our brain to do that. Yeah. So I call my little lens Lenny the lens. And I always tell people you have to look into the camera. And so if you have a little Lenny, a little graphic or something by your camera lens to kind of give you that reminder to do that. So you did a little awesome little doodle, and I did a terrible doodle, but it doesn't matter because, I have no drawing talent at all. I've never taken a course. This is just literally stick figure. And I had a hard time with this because I went, okay, I didn't know, should I do it to the side? But I thought at the end, you know what? It really doesn't matter because there I have a little teeny Lenny. He's saying, over here, look at me. I love Lenny. So I put Lenny with a heart, and there's me with my, curls. And I did the little dot to go across, just like you did, to go across and look at the lens. So that kind of shows to remember that. And then I just wrote, always remember, look at Lenny, because I'm also a word person. So I like to have my words go with but again, here's two totally different doodles. Yours is much better, that are doing the same thing, just a reminder of how to do stuff, all done in a quick little doodle. I love it.
You have the nicest handwriting. It looks so nice.
I cheated. I'm going to tell you, I cheated. I actually found a program, and I'll put it in the show notes, and I think it's called Tayasu Sketches. It is an iPad app. It is 100% completely free. You can upgrade and get a pro thing. And then I literally just use it with my my Apple Pencil and my iPad, and it has a text feature, but the text is graphic text, so that you can go ahead and just type in anything, and there's like six fonts to choose from. They're all very graphic and flowing and very, very nice. I could have done all capitals or not. And then the awesome thing is with this program, I can share it. It's a JPEG or a PNG at the end. So I can then take it and I can, send it to people. And it even has a recorder. So if I wanted to record how to draw, my whole picture, I can turn it on and it makes a video for me. So it's just like, wow, how cool is that? And it's free. You can upgrade to pro, but I don't think I'll ever need to. So I'll be sure to include that in the show notes afterwards in case anybody wants to check it out. I don't even think you need to have an iPad. I think you can also use it on Android and, Kindle tablets and, your phone or just anything. And you don't even need an Apple Pencil. You can just use a stylus or your finger. You just use your finger and draw with that. So it's kind of cool. So that's my cheat. That I don't really have a nice handwriting, but you might like it if you don't like your handwriting.
I've spoken to graphic designers who do sketch notes, and they use like Good Notes or different programs, and it really looks so nice. So you don't have to do it by hand. For me, it feels more natural to do it with paper and pen, but
whatever works.
Yes, on the course we had people who were doing it like this as well. So it's really your own preference. I came in contact with a graphic designer in Malaysia, Natasha Sunarto, and we had a Zoom call, and it was so nice just to have a virtual coffee with somebody from the other side of the world to talk about sketch notes, because I saw her work, and we just started talking. And one tip that I would give, if you want to improve your sketch notes quickly, it's the shadow. So just adding the little shadow on your sketch, it totally changes the experience.
Yeah, I could, because it makes it more real and it gives it more depth. I think it gives it more depth. So, great tip, great tip. And I would imagine that there's actually, communities. I know for this app, they have a community where people are actually sharing, here's what I drew and this is what I did, so that you can, basically learn by looking at what other people do. So I think that's always fun. We don't have to always just be in this by ourselves. There's other people, and, learn from others. And I think that's awesome.
And I think that was what encouraged me as well. I started posting those sketches, and I got so much nice feedback and people were saying, especially the post that the first one from Las Vegas, people were posting so kind things, and that really encouraged me to continue. And like people saying that, TIINA, you might have an inner graphic designer. It's like, from that graphic designer. I'm like,
I love that. I love that.
So there is so much inspiration on LinkedIn. Also, Jeremy Connell White from IBM, he does those really amazing sketch notes.
Awesome. Maybe we can put him in, maybe we can put him as a link so that people can go out to him. And I know a book that I read a while ago that I thought was awesome. It's by Dan Roam, R-O-A-M, I think it's how his last name's spelled. And he has a book called The Back of a Napkin. And he talks about doing, just basically using pictures in any kind of business. So whether you're talking about putting it in your PowerPoints, your note-taking, your communications with people, and he's got like about 6 books out now, but each book kind of talks you through how to do it. And again, it's all stick figures. He talks about making maps. So like, even if you just do what's called mind mapping, where you just, again, you connect visually with what you're trying to communicate, that's a way too. So even if you're not comfortable and you're saying, I don't know if I want to draw stuff, just get your stuff down in a non-linear way is a great way to capture ideas as well. So I'll put a link to that book because it's one I highly recommend. It's really a good one. It's really a good one. Well, we're winding down to 30 minutes. We've actually passed, but that's okay. Is there any final words or advice you'd like to give to anybody thinking that they'd like to do this? What would you recommend? Taking a course like you did, or just jumping right in, or a bit of both?
I think there are many videos on YouTube as well that you can get the basic just the basic lines, what you want to draw. But what was really good about this course is that there is a community as well. So there were other freelancers, and we were giving feedback to each other, and we had a follow-up course. So if anyone is interested, on the 19th of May there is another course, and I know there are 4 places still left. So
Awesome.
why not start with the course and just keep drawing? Because I know other people who have been to the course a year ago and didn't continue drawing. It's like a language or a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. So
You're right.
keep drawing.
Keep drawing, keep drawing. And now with so many, you know, YouTubes to watch and TED Talks and LinkedIn Lives, it's like, just doodle while you're listening, just like exactly what you did, and practice. And you don't have to show it to anybody, just use it and learn from yourself. But if you feel inclined, you know, share it, you know, because I think people, we like that visual stuff on LinkedIn. You know, text posts are good, you know, they have their place, but a visual, you're right, a picture really can be worth 1,000 words because it sums things up. So that's just absolutely awesome.
And it connects us. Yeah, because
yes.
now we are here on the LinkedIn Live because of that picture. So
absolutely. And I think that's fabulous. So would you put a link to that course, or, you know, so that people can know how to find it? Maybe you could put that in the comments, and then that way people can, you know, get in touch with them. So that's awesome. So let's wrap up, and thank you for being here and talking to us about this today. And if anybody, please connect with TIINA with 2 eyes. Connect with TIINA. She's on LinkedIn. You're also a big person on Clubhouse. So auditory. I bet you you're drawing when you're on Clubhouse, right?
it's my picture, yeah.
It's a great, and that's a great thing, you know, if you're on Clubhouse, you know, drawing, because we learn so much in some of these Clubhouse sessions, and there's no replay. So you have to take notes in situations like that. So it's really important. Okay. So we'll say goodbye to everybody right now. And thank you. Hope everybody enjoys what we talked about today. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.